Alright, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about overpass, CT side, and all the positions, and the very basics on how to play each position. So you're going to learn all 5, including op. Alright, so the first role that I want to talk about is B anchor. So the nades that I want you to buy are definitely a molly, a smoke, and a nade. And if you can't afford a molly, just do a smoke and a nade. Okay, so the way that you path is really important. So you're going to run this way, through heaven, just like this. Jump over the beam into the water, and then right here you're gonna make a decision if you're going to molly monster or if you're gonna nade monster like this. Both of these are to counter a rush, so if you can get these nades off, then the other team is gonna have a much harder time of rushing, especially if you molly. Because let's think about it, if you're rushing and you don't put out this molly, you're gonna take at least 30 to 40 damage as a T. But if you smoke it, and the smoke will land about there, you're going to come out and you're going to be in the open, exposed to a lot of angles, while you're going to be able to get free kills as this guy, as the monster player. The nade also does a similar thing, where if you nade at the start like this, in the pipe, the way the timing is going to work out is that at least 2 to 3 players, if they're rushing monster, are going to take at least 40 to 50 damage eating this nade. So while it doesn't stop them from fully running out, it does lower their health a lot. So you're going to be able to get very free kills, you know, only maybe shooting 3 bullets to kill somebody or 1 bullet to the head, right? Because they've been naded. So just remember to use this specific utility to counter a rush. Okay, so now that nothing has come out monster, what do you do with your smoke? So one of the things as a barrel player to remember is that your smoke is extremely important in how you use it. Typically, what you'll be doing in the round is re-smoking monster once your teammate's monster smoke is faded. And so if you're in an elo where nobody knows the monster smoke, it's okay. It's not actually really needed to play. You just want to get that off after you know that it's not a monster rush. So you can just simply throw it like this. This is enough to prevent the T's from coming through monster, because they see the smoke. It's pretty hard to just walk through as you come out and you're having to peek 4 or 5 angles at once. You know, somebody could be here, 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 here. It's pretty hard for the T's to come out like this. So just remember, this smoke is extremely important. The last option that you have with your smoke is to just simply throw a smoke like this when the other team is coming out monster. And what this smoke does is it gives you a ton of room to play. It's very, very hard for the T's to jump through the smoke and try to kill you. Look, it's hard for me to even get up on this barrel. So what this is going to allow you to do is live in this area and play like this. And what you're doing is you're buying time for your team so that they can rotate in and help you. You have to remember as the barrel player that it's not just you playing the game, you're also playing the bomb site with 2 other people. Maybe only 1 if it's a 4v4. But you have to remember that you are responsible for coordinating your setup with your second player at B. So some good setups that you can run that are very, very simple, they'll make a lot of sense to whoever you're playing with, is if you come here as the barrel player and you look at short like this, you just jiggle, you know, or you can stand still crouched like this, and you tell your teammate, hey bro, go pillar and hold my monster, and he'll play like this. This is very, very easy. Or you can do it the other way around. You can be this player and tell your teammate, hey bro, play wood wall and hold short. He'll know what it means. It's very simple. There's no other way to hold short unless you're gonna do this, but you can tell him to tuck. It's a very basic setup since both of you aren't gonna get blinded by the same flash, and both of you can turn off of the other player's contact. If this guy catches a guy walking up, you can very easily just peek this. Same thing. If you're playing here and kill a guy walking out, this guy can very easily just go for kills like that. Okay, so the next role is the B support player, or the B second rifler. There's not really a good name for this because he's not really the rotator, but he's the guy who plays short, so I guess you can call him the short player. Out of spawn, the pathing also matters, and the grenades that you buy matter. If you're going to be playing this role, ask for nades to be dropped for you from your teammates, or take a worse gun to buy grenades, because grenades are super, super important in this role. So the pathing you're going to take is like this. You have your spawn here. Your spawn doesn't really matter. You're always going to run like this. You're going to pull a molly out, and you're going to molly the short pipe. And the way that you do that, I think this is the easiest way for me, is you see this corner of the building right here? Well, you can imagine it in your head while you're running out. It's right there, right? So if I'm running out, I'm just looking up in this general area. And while I'm here, I'm holding left and right click. So this is a left click, this is a middle click, and this is a right click. So it's the one in the middle. And then as you're running, You aim like that. This is going to molly the pipe instantly. What that does is that if the T's are going to run short, they have to put this molly out unless they want to take 30-40 damage, which puts them in one-shot headshot range. And it's not really a good decision to not smoke this, so this is super common for the T's to smoke this molly and try to play around it. So just get used to that happening. If they don't smoke the molly, basically means nobody's here and your team has free control, so you're able to just noob farm a little bit while the other team has no idea what's going on. Okay, so once you're done throwing this molly, what I want you to do is come into this corner right here immediately and aim in the middle of this bush. It's a very easy lineup. And just left click. And this will break the door. So you may be asking, why do we break the door? Let's say you're a T playing in connector and you're playing here, and imagine this door is not blown open. I'm coming up here. I don't have to look at this angle. I can only look at this, you know? I can just walk up all the way and just kind of clear everything, right? But this door is not broken, so I'm not exposed to this angle at all. Now that the door is broken, the T's are going to be much more scared to just walk up here because, you know, this is a 50-50 on if somebody's behind them or in front. Same thing. It's very hard to clear everything since you're crossing this angle. Plus, if you're this player, you can jump spot like this at any time and see people coming through the door, right? If this door was closed, these people could still just walk up. They would never get spotted, you know? They could maybe take a tight line like this if they know nobody's connector, and you would never see them. And so blowing the door open, it makes the T's commit to either wasting a smoke to go early, or just not come up con, and it gives your team a lot more space to do whatever they want. Because all your A teammates are going to be very safe if the other team isn't coming up con, right? They're going to be able to do whatever because they don't even have to worry about this. And so that brings me to the next point about this position is jump spotting. So jump spotting is a super impactful way to get information for your team. If the other team doesn't smoke your molly, you'll know because you'll have thrown that nade and then came here to jump spot. I would worry that people, you know, they can hear you doing this, but especially if you're in a beginner game or an intermediate game, the amount of times that somebody is going to one-tap you while jump spotting is very low. And, you know, even in pro games, it doesn't happen that much. I think it's more common in a pro match for the Opera to run up here and try to pick this guy. And, you know, even people like Manesi and Wonderful miss this shot. So this is not an easy shot to hit. So if you die jump spotting from stuff like that, it's very rare. And you should just keep jump spotting in other rounds. This is going to segue into the next role, but you always have to be comfortable as this player playing B to boost your teammate. So you should be playing in a way at the start of the round that if your teammate wants a boost, you can boost them. So this is a good spot to boost in. This is a good spot to boost in, you know, it's a classic boost. And I even saw this boost before, where you stand here, the other guy jumps up and he, you know, boosts up behind this. So that's harder to get spotted. I saw that in a pro match once. So yeah, always be ready to boost. And this is similar to the monster player. You have to remember that you're playing with your teammates. So if your barrel player calls for a setup, you are going to be the one to do it almost every single time, unless you're not paying attention and then your teammate steals your spot. One of the things that beginners never do is throw counter utility. So let's say the other team is doing a very simple execute on B, where they're just throwing flashes over, you know, nothing too overly complicated, but you know it's coming, right? As this player, you're not going to see people first, okay? Unless it's a short, unless they come through short, right? If they come out monster, you're not going to be seeing these people. So what you can do is, since you still have a flashbang most likely and a smoke, I want you to throw a flashbang into jail. And so why do you do this? Let's say the T's are coming out and they're, you know, they can't just P90 hold W at you. They're going to take their time just a little bit. If you're able to react to the execute like you would be able to react to somebody peeking you, you know, you can instantly shoot. It means you can instantly react to an execute. You have just a very small timing to get a flash off like this. And this flash is so good because it pops over here. It's hard to blind your teammate with a flash like this, you know, unless you totally miss it. So these people are all going to be full blind, and your barrel player is going to have a much easier time getting kills. Think about it. If this guy's running up here and he's looking barrel, he's getting destroyed by this flash. He has to turn around, you know, and it's very, very, very hard to dodge this flash. You can also, you still have a smoke, so you can throw things like a short smoke while the execute's happening. I would say in the middle of the round, you shouldn't be smoking short because it gives, you know, it gives this fog that you don't have any information, you know, on whether these people are boosting or whether they're about to come straight at you, you know. So I would save the smoke to either re-smoke monster or give it to your barrel player or use it right as the execute is happening. Okay, the next role is the rotator. It's hard to say if this is a B position or an A position because you're so mobile, but you generally play in the CT spawn area. You basically never go and play committal. You know, you're more than likely not staying in short, or you're not, you know, staying in connector. You're kind of going between both sites. So it's really important in this role that you're the player who smokes monster because you have the time to do it as the rotator player. You're not needed to throw any other nades at the beginning except for monster. So obviously that means you're going to have to buy a smoke every single round. Okay, and so as the rotator, you're just going to run into this corner. And you see this edge of the telephone pole. You're just going to do a simple jump throw at the start of every single round, and it's going to be a very easy monster smoke. And so once you throw this smoke, I want you to path like this where you run, and generally you go here. The other team B rushes on you, right? You're going to want to be a supportive player, and if you go heaven and the other team is good and they throw an instant heaven smoke, it's going to be very hard for you to have impact. But if you're playing from here, it's much easier, you know, to molly short, nade monster, flash jail, that kind of stuff, because you're here in a role that's not very committal, so now you're like an extra prong against the rush. Basically what I'm trying to say is that if a team tries to B-rush on you, you can play any of these positions in a solo queue game and you should completely mop the other team. A B-rush should never work. When I'm playing against lower skilled opponents and I see that they're not playing B properly, I'll most of the time call a B-rush in a face-it pug because they don't know how to stop it. They're not doing the right things to stop it. All these things will stop a B-rush very easily that I'm teaching you. The rotator position is a position where you're going to be getting boosted a lot. So you have to be comfortable talking to your teammates and asking them for a boost. You can do this boost or you can do this boost. I think that this boost a lot of the times is better. You can see into connector and you can see into these angles if you play like this. So this is much harder for the Ts to expect, especially if you're in a beginner level or intermediate level pug or match. It's very hard for them to clear you properly here. And a lot of times what I've found is boosting here at the right time. If you get good at it, you can catch somebody walking up connector. Again, it's another way to punish a lower skilled player who's, you know, not checking this. If you're playing higher skilled opponents, they might actually check this angle specifically. So just be prepared that it's not a totally free kill, but it's a very likely kill most of the time if you're playing in this boost. If you're playing this position, you're going to be rotating to A first. You're the first person to rotate to A, as this player who's the B rifler is most likely playing with the monster player, and so you're going to be separated on most rounds. So you're going to have to know how to defend A, which is why you should watch the next portion of this video talking about A rifling, since I'll talk about how to defend A site after I talk about the start of the round on A. Okay, so playing A is definitely the most active position as a CT on this map. You're going to be getting the most action and you're going to be getting the most information early. But that also means that there are some nades that are harder than the other side of the map. So if you want to be good at A, then you have to learn these nades. Okay, so coming out of spawn, there's a very strong way to put pressure on the fountain here, and it's to smoke this, and it's to molly here. And so what this does is the Ts, they're going to be very scared, you know, to play behind this smoke because of this Molotov, and they're going to be getting information denied from this smoke. So they don't know if you're pushing fountain, you know, unless they take a risk and come through the smoke, you know, fight a bunch of angles at once. And so the lineup for this smoke, there's a couple lineups, but I like this one the most. You can see here there's this pipe. It might be hard to see on the bitrate on YouTube, but there's a pipe right here coming out of connector. And I want you to aim at the top of this pipe, hold left and right click for a middle click, then once you get to the bottom of the stairs while looking at it, jump throw. And so this is going to land, with a little bit of practice, it'll land perfectly in the center here. It's not exactly very easy, like I said, so you should learn this smoke and practice it. And then, if you don't want to learn the hard molly, you can learn this molly. So I'm aiming with this stair off to the left here, and then on 4x3 as this divider wall exits my screen, I'm jump throwing. If you're playing on native, you can learn a different lineup with how it exits your screen. Just do a couple throws, but this also puts a lot of pressure on the Ts because they're kind of forced to just jump around in here, you know. If they want to run playground, they're going to have to smoke the molly and waste a smoke. And you're going to hear this. You're going to hear the sound that extinguishing a molly makes. Okay, the last molly is definitely harder than the other one. This is the easiest way that I found to do it, but it's pretty advanced how you line it up. So the way I found is easiest is you come into this corner, you aim. I use this concrete and I aim down to the shadow. I hold left click and jump, and then hold W and D on this bench right here, and then jump throw, so it looks like this. And this lineup is definitely hard, but it's doable. If you can throw the window smoke on Mirage slow, then you can throw this lineup. It's really not that hard. You jump, WD, and then hit your jump throw bind. I'm holding... Let's see, let me think about this. It's a bit hard. So I'm holding left click. With my middle finger, I'm hitting scroll wheel to jump. And then I'm holding WD with my left hand, and then my jump throw is on my space bar, so it's easy for me to hit. So if your jump throw is on N or something, or maybe on like a mouse thumb button, this should be pretty easy for you to get the hang of. Okay, so with the smoke, it's going to look like this. So you come here a little bit wide, jump throw, get into this corner, boom. I missed it a few times. I'm gonna be honest. This smoke is really hard. So don't feel bad if you can't hit it the first try. It takes a lot of practice. And I don't typically play this spot in pugs. I choose to play B, so you know I'm not too well practiced on this lineup, but it's okay. We'll all learn together. Okay, so this is where it starts to get a little complicated because this is a role where you have a lot of choices that you can make at the start of every round. But what I want you to think about is I want you to know the difference between passive and aggressive styles of play, and how to switch between them and make the T side not know which one that you're doing, okay? So let me explain. Okay, so since you're throwing this smoke at the start of every round, let's say you're doing that, I think it's a very good option. I think you should choose to throw this smoke at the start of every single round. This puts a lot of pressure on the Ts to question if you're playing aggressive, right? Because with this smoke, they can't see if you push into fountain and, you know, try to surprise them with kills like this, right? The Ts have to take a lot of gambles to try to kill you when they're, you know, when they're coming here and you throw this smoke. That means the Ts are going to think that you're playing aggressive, right? But you could be playing with that smoke thrown. You could just be playing in long bathroom, right? So what you're doing with this smoke isn't necessarily to push every round. It's to waste the T's time. And the less time that the T's have in the round, the more success you're going to have as a CT. Because they are going to have to pick a site later into the round, and therefore they don't have enough time to, you know, play little games and try to go for trick fakes and that kind of stuff and go for lurks. They're going to be sitting around doing a whole lot of nothing until all these nades fade. And this smoke is going to last for 20 seconds, right? So they're going to waste 20 seconds on top of the time it took for them to run here. If you can lock them in with the playground molly and the smoke, they really are just going to be standing here doing absolutely nothing. And so since you know that, and you know now how to play, you know, more passive with the smoke, you can play in areas like divider, or you could just play all the way back in the site. Now it's time to learn how to switch it up and go aggressive. So with this smoke, you really can just throw a simple flash like this and run if you think that you're better than the other team, right? And you think that you'll just destroy them if they try to come through. So that's how you play aggressive. The other team won't know what you're doing when you throw the smoke if you play it properly. Okay, and so this far into the video, I'm finally going to say what I wanted to say the whole time, is that Overpass is a very committal map. So if you see on the mini-map, the map is huge, right? You can play the map, you don't even have to look, you know that the map feels gigantic. Even if there's such a small rotate time through the connector, and you know it's such an important spot to try to hold, it still is a huge task to rotate from A to B or B to A. And so what that means is that you can let the T's waste a lot of time trying to clear the whole map, and then once they come to you, they're almost guaranteed to end where you think they're going to end, okay? Fakes are not very common on this map because of how long it takes to get around. I hope that made sense. It's a bit of a high-level concept for a lot of beginners, but trust me, the T's will not be faking very much. It means that you're going to be playing a lot in the bomb site, okay? So as an A player and as a B player, you have to know how to play from the bomb site, and especially at A. These angles at A are so strong for CTs. Angles like this, playing around the truck. Think about how many highlights you've seen from these angles, right? You can get so many cheeky kills you know, just like getting one and hiding, peeking. There are so many angles that you can peek from that playing from the site is just very, very strong. So as an A player, you should get used to jump spotting like this. You should get used to, you know, getting a molly drop to you. And being able to smoke front bathroom, you know, playing map. This kind of stuff. There's so many things for the T's to try and come clear. Unless they're 5-manning, you know, and if you're playing properly, you should be able to tell when they're gonna 5-man, you know. It's not like B on Mirage, right, where 5 people can just explode in your face, pause, in 1 second, right? You get a lot of time to react at A, so jump spotting, getting a lot of info will help you a lot, you know, in order to prepare for an execute that's gonna come in and it's gonna take them a bit to come to you. Okay, the last thing I'm going to talk about is opping. This is a map where the op really shines because of how long range all the fights are. You can take a lot of long range angles where riflers don't really stand a chance, especially if you're really good with the op. This map should be where you farm a lot of kills. If you're in the intermediate range, beginner range, you'll farm even harder because the other team won't be throwing flashes properly at you. So you'll be able to just get free 3Ks over and over and over. They won't be able to do anything. Okay, so generally when I get the op, I don't go for super aggressive plays, like jumping up here and, you know, dying at the start of the round, you know, trying to go for this kill. What I like to do is play slightly more passive angles. The idea that I like to take in my games is to be like a ghost, like you're a ghoul in the server, you know? Dead inside Russian kid opping 45 kills every single game, you know what I mean? That's what you want to be when you're opping on this map. So you can take angles like here is a very strong angle because it's hard for the other team to peek you. You can get a kill and fall back. You can play, if you're good enough, you can hit this jump. It's really not that hard. Play up here, bang, get a kill, even re-peek, bang, fall off. You have enough time, you know, since they're not close to you. You can jump spot, peak angles like this. Again, long range fight. You can hold from top of the... This used to be a flower pot in CSGO. So it's called flower pot. You can hold top con like this. You know, look at all these super long distance angles that you can pick at will. You know, you can pick any of these at the start of the round. The other team's not going to know where you are. This is a very strong angle. That's kind of a common theme on this map at A site, is that you want the other team to be guessing what you're doing and trying to clear everything. But it's Counter-Strike. We can't clear everything, you know? So the CTs are going to have a lot of success on this map playing in that way. If you're playing predictively on CT side, the other team is just going to run circles around you. They're going to know exactly what you're doing every single round and be able to just take all the other space around the map without you being able to do anything. The number one lesson I want to drive it home at A site is to not be predictable. Okay, so those are just the bare basics on overpass for each position. If you like this video, make sure to leave a comment telling me what map I should do next, and be sure to hit that subscribe button since I'm going to be making more videos just like this one. Alright, peace.